If you can't sleep tonight, it may not be sadness, it may be fear. Fear about money, fear about work, fear about tomorrow, that tight chest, that endless what if. I know. In the next few minutes, I'll guide you through 4 gentle steps to calm fear so your body can breathe again and rest can come more easily. Please stay until the end so you can take one quiet thing just for yourself. You're scared, aren't you? Not the loud kind of fear, but the quiet fear of someone caring too much. Fear of losing your job tomorrow. Fear the money won't be enough. Fear that one fall could pull the whole family down. When night comes, everything gets still, and the fear becomes as clear as the ticking of a clock. It tightens your chest. It shortens your breath. It makes your mind run like a machine with no off switch. I'm not asking you to be strong, and I'm not going to say, don't be afraid, just to move past it. In the Buddha's teaching, the first thing when suffering arrives is not to deny it. It is to see it exactly as it is. So I ask you just one thing tonight. Don't run from your fear. Stand here beside me for a moment. Let me help you set it down so it feels a little lighter. Breathe out, just a little slower. You don't have to breathe deep. Just breathe out slower, like setting down a heavy bag. And if you can, place one hand on your chest. Not to do the technique right, only to remind your body, I am here. Fear pulls you up into your head. It makes you live in the future. When you touch your chest, you bring yourself back to the present. The present is always smaller than the future, and because it's smaller, it's easier to hold. Now whisper one sentence, just the truth. I'm scared. That's all. Don't add a second sentence that blames you. Don't say, I'm weak, I'm broken, I'm failing. In the Dharma, suffering is something to understand, not something to condemn. When you name it clearly, you're already less controlled by it. Let me share a short Dharma story so you see your fear is not strange. Long ago, there was a layman, a small merchant. He wasn't rich. He had just enough to live. But business got hard. Debts came due. Goods didn't sell. The money in his pocket grew thinner and thinner. By day, he forced a smile. He said, "It's fine." He tried to look normal so his family wouldn't worry, but at night he lay down and heard his heart like knocking at a door. He was afraid of tomorrow, afraid of what he had to pay, afraid of people's eyes, afraid he couldn't carry it all. One night, exhausted, he went to see the Buddha. He didn't ask for a miracle. He only spoke the truth. "Blessed One, I am afraid. The future feels like a black wall." The Buddha didn't ask how much money he had. He asked one gentle question. "Right now, where are you?" The merchant froze. His body was sitting in front of the Buddha, but his mind was already in tomorrow. His chest was in next month. His fear was in next year. The Buddha said slowly, "Tomorrow is not in your hands, but this breath is here. This seat is here. This person is here." And in that moment, it felt like a cord in his chest was loosened. The hardship didn't disappear, but the panic grew smaller because he touched what was real again. Do you see? The Buddha didn't promise, "Tomorrow you will be rich." He didn't promise, "You will have no debt." He only gave him a place to stand. Because when you have no place to stand, you feel afraid. When you find your footing again, you can breathe. In Buddhism, that is mindfulness, knowing clearly where you are, how you are breathing, which moment you are living in. Mindfulness doesn't create miracles for your situation, but it creates a miracle for the heart. The heart stops being dragged so far away. Tonight, I'm doing the same for you. You don't need to solve the whole future right now. You only need to soften what is tightening you in this moment. Fear has a trick. It makes you live through collapse before it even happens. It makes you collapse in your imagination, and then it lays that collapse on your chest all night. We're not letting it do that anymore. I'm bringing you back here. Whisper after me. Right now, I haven't collapsed. And one more sentence, very practical. Tonight, I rest first. Tomorrow, I take it step by step. That isn't avoidance. It's the wisdom of conserving strength. A drained mind cannot see clearly. A panicked heart cannot choose well. The Buddha didn't teach us to push until we break. He taught us to walk a long path in steps we can actually take. If fear returns and asks, "What if tomorrow?" Don't argue with it. Answer with one kind line, "Tomorrow later, now, breathe." Breathe out just one beat slower. Place your hand on your chest again and remind yourself, "I'm scared and I'm still breathing." That is enough to win the most dangerous part of fear, the part that steals your sleep, steals your strength, steals your footing. Hello, I'm Brother Michael from the channel Buddha's Loving Words. If you want a few minutes of support each night, you can subscribe so I can walk with you. Please stay until the end so you can take one quiet thing just for yourself. And right after this, I'll go one gentle step further with you. When fear is no longer chased away, we learn to listen to it just enough so it doesn't have to scream. And you'll see this. One wholesome thought can pull you out of the spiral in the middle of the night. You're still here, and that already takes courage, because when fear about money and work shows up, the mind usually wants to run far away, into the worst-case scenarios, into the numbers, into those what-if thoughts. But tonight, I'm not letting you run alone. I'm going to guide you one more step, soft, gentle, and within reach. One wholesome thought. In the Buddha's teachings, the mind is like a field. Each thought is a seed. Whatever you water grows. When you're afraid, you often water the seed of fear without realizing it. You water it by replaying scary pictures in your head, by blaming yourself, by comparing yourself to others, by repeating the sentence, "I'm not enough." And then fear grows fast. It becomes a whole forest blocking the light, and you end up sitting inside that forest, unable to see a way out. But there's something deeply kind in the Buddha's way. You don't have to cut down the whole forest tonight. You just need to light one small lamp, plant one wholesome seed, and stop watering what harms you. It sounds simple, but it can save a night from collapsing. You may ask me, what is a wholesome thought? Here's the most everyday answer. A wholesome thought is a sentence that doesn't hurt you more. It doesn't force you to pretend you're fine. It doesn't demand fake optimism. It simply helps you stop stabbing yourself with the second arrow. The Buddha taught about two arrows. The first arrow is the pain life brings, difficulty, pressure, loss, scarcity. The second arrow is the pain we shoot into ourselves, insults, self-blame, self-condemnation, turning the future into a catastrophe in our mind. The first arrow is sometimes unavoidable, but the second arrow can be stopped. And one wholesome thought is how you pull that second arrow out of your chest at night. Let me share a short Dharma story in that spirit. Long ago, there was a layman who traded for a living. Someone like you, responsible, carrying a family, afraid he wouldn't be able to hold it all. One time he suffered a major loss. Almost all his capital was gone. That night he couldn't sleep, not only because he feared the lack of money, but because he feared being looked down on, feared disappointing his wife and children, feared becoming worthless. Fear turned into a voice in his head, a cruel voice. You failed. You don't deserve anything. You're ruining your whole family. With every sentence, his chest tightened. His breath got shorter. His mind ran faster. The next morning, he went to see an elderly monk in the area. He didn't ask for a way to get rich. He confessed, "I'm so afraid that my mind is full of insults toward myself. I can't take it anymore." The monk listened for a long time without interrupting. Then he asked gently, "Can you change just one sentence in your head?" The layman blinked. "Change it to what?" The monk said, "When you hear 'you failed,' answer with one wholesome sentence. I'm going through a hard time, but I am still a good person." Hearing that, the layman laughed through tears, because it felt both strange and true. The hardship was still there, but he was no longer being shoved into a pit by self-contempt. He practiced it. Each time the cruel voice appeared, he answered with the wholesome sentence. At first it was weak, like a tiny spark, but he repeated it again and again. And strangely, his body began to soften. He started sleeping in short stretches. In the morning, he could sit down and write what needed to be done, instead of collapsing in panic. So what was the result of that story? Not a money miracle. The result was that he escaped the cycle of attacking himself, so he still had strength to do what had to be done. He panicked less, so he made fewer bad decisions. He slept more, so he wasn't destroyed by exhaustion. And those things became the ground for his life to slowly steady again. Do you see? One wholesome thought doesn't change your life instantly, but it keeps you from breaking. And in hard seasons, not breaking is already a huge victory. Now let's bring it back to you. You're afraid the future will collapse. So what do your cruel thoughts usually say? Often they sound like, I'm not enough. I'm going to lose everything. There's no way out. I'm hurting my family. I'm not telling you to chase those thoughts away, because the more you chase them, the more they return. I'm only asking you to do one thing. Answer them with one wholesome sentence. Choose a sentence that's within reach, not lofty. For example, I'm trying my best. Or, tonight I rest so I'll have strength tomorrow. Or, I'll take it one step at a time. Whichever sentence makes your chest loosen even a little, that's the right one. Say it quietly, just once. Then breathe out slowly. You'll feel the mind rush a little less. Not gone, but less. And that is what I want for you in this second part. One place for your mind to return to whenever it runs into the future. And right after this, we'll take one more step together. How to look straight at fear without being swallowed by it, so you no longer have to curse the darkness. Just stay with me a little longer. You're still here. And I want to say this honestly. Just the fact that you didn't turn off the video, that you didn't run from what you're feeling, is already a very big step. Because fear about money and work has a habit. It makes the mind run far away into collapse scenarios, and then it drags the body into exhaustion. It's like a dark wave. The more you fight it, the more you thrash, the more it pulls you under. So in this part, I'm not teaching you how to defeat fear. I'm only teaching you something very Buddhist, to look straight at it so it becomes smaller. In Buddhism, fear is not an enemy. It's a state of mind. And states of mind arise, and they pass away. But because we're afraid, we become afraid of fear itself. Then we chase it, hate it, blame ourselves for having it, and that gives fear more food. The Buddha called that adding extra suffering. The path of liberation is to meet it with mindfulness, to see it come, to see it stay, to see it go, without handing it a throne in the center of your heart. Listen to me. The biggest fear is often the vague fear. It has no shape, so it swallows everything. But the moment you look straight and ask, what exactly am I afraid of? Fear begins to shrink. It's like darkness in a room. Before you turn on the light, you imagine something is there. But when you turn on a small lamp, you see it's just a hanging coat, just a shadow. The light doesn't change the room, but it changes how you are in the room. Let me tell you a strong Dharma story about pausing and looking straight. Long ago, there was a man named Angulimala. He had lived in delusion, letting anger and frenzy lead the way. People feared him and avoided him. He was like a storm on the road, making others afraid while being burned by his own fire. One day he met the Buddha. Seeing the Buddha walking alone, he ran after him and shouted, "Stop!" In that wild state, he thought he was in control. He thought he was the hunter. But the Buddha turned and said one short sentence, "I have already stopped." That sentence was like a bell. "I have already stopped" meant the Buddha had stopped running after craving, stopped running after anger, stopped running after illusion. But Angulimala was still running, running inside his own storm, and that sentence made him freeze. For the first time, someone did not fear him. For the first time, someone did not avoid him. For the first time, one short sentence made him see the truth. He had been running madly in the dark. So what happened? He truly stopped. He put down his weapon. He turned back. A whole life of running in delusion opened into a single moment of awakening, because the Buddha did not confront him with violence, but met him with mindfulness. The Buddha didn't fight him. He illuminated him. And when something is illuminated, darkness naturally retreats. And when you hear that story, don't think it's far from you. Fear about money and work can be an Angulimala inside the heart. It runs, it shouts, it pushes, it steals your sleep. It says run, think more, calculate more, worry more. It makes you run non-stop, believing running is safety. But running only drains you. What you need is what the Buddha pointed to. Stop, right in the breath, and look straight at what is chasing you. So now I'll guide you to do one gentle thing. Pause. Breathe out slowly. Whisper to yourself, pause for a moment. That's all. Then look directly at the fear with one simple question. What am I most specifically afraid of? Not the future in general. What is it exactly? Losing your job? A debt deadline? Being judged? Not being able to provide for your child? Choose just one. Once you choose, whisper, I'm afraid of this. That's it. And you'll feel fear swallow you less. Because when it has a shape, it sits more neatly in the heart. This is very practical Dharma, naming the mind. When the mind is named, there is distance. When there is distance, there is freedom. Then I'll guide you one more step, also very Buddhist. Separating what is real from what is imagined. What is real is how much money you have today, how much work you have today, how many days you have. What is imagined is, tomorrow will definitely collapse. I will lose everything. There's no way to live. The imagined story often speaks in the word definitely, while life is rarely that definite. When you're afraid, don't argue with it. Just say, this is imagination, softly, then return to the breath. The result of this part is not that worry disappears right away. The result is fear doesn't drag you farther away. You don't let it drive the car in the night. You keep your footing right now. And when you keep that footing, you can sleep again, or at least lie still without being swept away. And right after this, I'll walk the final stretch with you. How to choose compassion instead of judgment, so your inner world becomes less harsh and you can become a safe place for others and for yourself. Just stay with me a little longer. You've made it this far, and I want you to remember one thing. Fear doesn't only keep you awake because of numbers or work. Fear also keeps you awake because of something deeper, self-condemnation. When we're scared, we easily become harsh with ourselves. We tell ourselves cold sentences. I'm so bad at this. I'm not enough. I'm hurting my family. I've failed. And those sentences are what tighten the chest the most. In Buddhism, this is the moment we step into a path that is very soft, yet very deep. Compassion instead of judgment. Compassion is not indulgence. Compassion is not pretending everything is fine. Compassion is seeing suffering and not pouring more oil on the fire. Compassion is saying to a trembling heart, I understand. I won't abandon you. When you choose compassion, you don't make the hardship disappear right away, but you do something incredibly important. You create a safe place so your mind doesn't collapse. And only a mind that doesn't collapse can handle life. The Buddha taught very clearly about mental habits. When the mind is led by anger, fear, and self-blame, we add more suffering. But when mindfulness and compassion are present, wisdom begins to appear. And in Buddhism, wisdom is not something lofty. It's knowing what you are doing to yourself. Knowing when you are hitting yourself inside and stopping. Knowing when you are judging too quickly and opening your hand. Let me tell you a Dharma story so you can feel that compassion is not theory. Long ago, a woman named Kisa Gotami lost her child. Her pain was beyond words. She held her dead baby and ran everywhere searching for medicine. People looked at her with all kinds of eyes. Some felt pity, some felt annoyed. Some said very harshly, "Stop, the child is dead." But you know this. A sentence can be true and still kill one more time if it's spoken without compassion. She didn't need truth in that form. She needed a place where her grief could breathe. She went to the Buddha. The first thing the Buddha did was not a long teaching about impermanence. He didn't shout at her to wake up. He didn't send her away. He looked at her like a human being in pain, and that look itself was an embrace. He did not reject her. He did not judge her as crazy. He let her stand there and let her speak her grief. Then he gave her one task. Go and find a handful of mustard seeds from a home that has never known death. She went. She knocked on doors. Every home had its own loss. Every door that opened was a story. Every story carried a sigh. And along the way, she began to realize something harsh words could never teach her. Suffering is part of life, not only her life. Her grief was no longer locked inside a sealed room. She stepped out and saw other hearts that had broken too. And because of that, her grief was no longer so lonely. In the end, she returned and was able to lay her child down, not because she loved less, but because her heart had grown soft enough to accept what could not be changed. So what was the result of that story? Compassion can carry a person from being dragged by pain to holding pain without breaking. The Buddha did not heal her by forcing right logic right away. He healed her with a non-judging space, with presence, and with a path where she could touch the truth with a supported heart. Now I bring that back to you, the one who is afraid of money, work, and the future. You also need a non-judging space like that, and first it has to come from you. You may be thinking, I should be better, I shouldn't be scared, I should be strong. But listen to me, anyone carrying a lot will feel fear. Fear doesn't make you bad. Fear only reminds you that you care about this life, that you want to protect what matters. What we're doing tonight is helping you be afraid without humiliating yourself. Afraid, but still gentle with yourself, so you have strength to continue. So right now, try changing your gaze. Instead of looking at yourself with accusing eyes, look the way the Buddha looked at Kisa Gotami, with kindness toward a suffering heart. Place your hand on your chest and whisper, I know you're scared, I'm here with you. It sounds simple, but it is a practice, because you are training compassion for yourself. And when you have compassion for yourself, you can have the wisdom to handle life step by step. What comes first? What comes next? What can be done now? What can wait? Compassion also helps you stop judging others. When you're scared, you can become irritable, cold, and sharp. You might unintentionally hurt the people you love. But if you can recognize, I'm scared, you'll dump less on others. You'll hurt your loved ones less. And that is a real result of practice. Not becoming perfect, but becoming someone who creates less suffering for yourself and for others. Tonight, I want you to close with a gentle ritual. Breathe out slowly. Whisper, I don't need to judge myself anymore. Then add, tomorrow, I'll take it one step at a time. Don't rush to demand that fear disappears. Just let it soften enough for sleep. Just be kind enough for your heart to rest. And if there's one last sentence I want to leave with you, it's this. When you choose compassion, you create a safe place for the heart, and inside that safe place, light returns. Not a blazing light, just a light bright enough to see the path in front of your feet, bright enough to take one more step, bright enough to sleep through one night and wake up tomorrow, still with strength to live on. If you've listened this far, thank you so much for staying with me. If even one line gently touched your heart, leave me a small comment or tap like so I know you're here. And if you'd like to slow down each night and rest in a few minutes of peace like this, please subscribe to Buddha's Loving Words and turn on notifications. Wishing you a peaceful sleep and a lighter tomorrow.
From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for supporting Buddha's Loving Words. May the teachings of the Buddha continue to touch every heart, bringing peace and happiness.